I celebrate this year's May the 4th with an ice-cold take by saying the Book of Boba Fett failed to meet fan expectations. As to why I still think about this disappointment of a show that came out about 4 years ago, it's that I really did believe in it. And I'm not even that big of a Boba Fett fan because I actually think he was kind of overrated and he made my hands all sticky due to all the glaze around him. That was until he emerged in Mandalorian Season 2 and utterly destroyed those stormtroopers like it was a Koei Tecmo Warriors game. Which they should absolutely make a Star Wars Warriors game. And once he finally donned that fresh new outfit, I think the Boba Fett hype was finally warranted. And that post-credit scene of him killing Bib Fortuna and taking Jabba's old throne, with the news of an upcoming Boba Fett show where he becomes the kingpin of Tatooine, actually gave me a lot of hope for his story and potential. Until we got the actual show and honestly, you can just watch Shay Fearless's video on the Book of Boba Fett, what? Shay Fearless's video on the Book of Boba Fett to get my opinion, since I pretty much agree with everything that he said, both about Boba Fett the character and the show made for him. But it was shortly after his review I started to wonder how the show could have been salvaged, since I think the ingredients to a great dish are all there, they just had to be prepped and cooked better. After thinking about this for a few years, I'd like to share my pitch for a Boba Fett rewrite. Fanfic, more like a fanfix. No. Hey, editing Indigo here. I also forgot this one line where I'm also adding a small imposed challenge on myself to change things as little as possible, proving that the story didn't need a major overhaul and it could have been salvaged with better planning. Okay, back to the main bit. Now I think the first major issue with the show is the number of flashbacks. I don't mind a tiny bit of non-linear storytelling, but it got a bit annoying and excessive when they did at least one almost every episode, so that's my first change. I will allow one at the cold open of the show, and another one later, but that's it. The rest of the Indigo cut will be told in chronological order. I'll then divide the show into 3 acts, first with the Tusken Arc, the Bounty Hunter Arc, and then the Daimyo Arc. So in my version, we lead with Boba Fett in the Bacta tank as he remembers crawling his way out of the Sarlacc, gets his armor looted by the Jawas, and then is taken captive by the Tusken tribe. He still ends up saving that one Tusken child, and earns the respect of the tribe in the form of a black melon and close combat lessons with the Gaffi stick. Fett and the Tusken tribe still stop the spice train and uncover the Pikes using Tatooine as a staging ground for the business. They return to camp where he commits 420 lizard and then crafts his own Gaffi stick. After going out to get some milk, he returns and sees the tribe has been killed while he was away and Boba Fett is once again all alone. To end the Tusken Arc, Fett finds Fennec stranded alone in the desert on the brink of death and takes the unconscious Fennec to the cybernetics shop to replace her damaged organs in order to keep her alive. He also hires Fennec to help him raid Jabba's palace to retrieve his ship, take vengeance on the Nikto bikers that killed the Tusken tribe, and then searches the Sarlacc for his armor, even dropping a seismic charge into its mouth after it refused to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We then cut back to Fett in the present, waking up from the Bacta tank, as he gets word from Fennec that she picked up a job for them to do in Mos Espa, as we come to the end of Act 1 and all the flashbacks. So taking place shortly after Mando Season 2, the next change I want to make is that Boba Fett doesn't become the Daimyo or the crime boss of Tatooine just yet, as he returns to bounty hunting both to sharpen his skills and get his mind off the murdered Tusken tribe. He's still the savage killer we saw from Mando 2, currently using Jabba's palace as a base of operations. Yeah, MTV Cribs is now, I call it MTV Dibs. Fett and Fennec head to Mos Espa and enter Garsa Fwip's club, and accept a request to take out assassins extorting her business, and they even manage to take one back to base to interrogate. The Rancor Gambit scares the assassin enough to tell them that the Hutt twins, Jabba's cousins, are the ones causing trouble, and sent them in order to lay claim on Jabba's old territory. They later take on another job from the Watermonger, who says the cyborg gang are trying to take his water, and upon arriving at the place, he sees that the water dealer is upcharging them in an egregious amount, and demands he lowers the price and hires the cyborg gang as extra hands. And good thing he did hire them, because later that night, the Hutt twins sent Chrysanthemum the Gladiator to kill him, and it took the combined might of Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, and the cyborgs to stop him. So we fast forward to the next day, and the Hutt twins show up right up to his door, and they actually apologize to Fett, saying they were legitimately trying to kill him and take Jabba's old place, until they learn that the Pikes and their spice trader colluding with Mos Espa's mayor to set up shop on Tatooine. As a gift, they give Fett a young Rancor, which he gladly takes, before they flee off to Nal Hutta. Fett actually lets Chrysanthemum go, understanding he was doing his job. Yeah, no problem, I get it, dude. Now that he knows the mayor is working with the Pikes, Fett goes to confront him and we finally get that stupid Vespa chase, but in my version it'll be a lot faster and not an absolutely boring slog. Catching up to the stupid mayor's secretary, he now knows for certain that the Pikes are coming to Tatooine. Hold on a second, it was while writing this script that I realized the stupid mayor's secretary doesn't even have a name. He's just called Muk Shaiza's Major Domo. The dude doesn't even have a name. That just... wow. Realizing that he now must take charge as its new de facto leader, Boba Fett, the bounty hunter, is no more, and embracing the lesson of family he learned from the Tusken tribe, he declares himself the Daimyo of Tatooine, and we get the first scene of him acting like a crime boss by calling the other gang leaders of Tatooine to a meeting. Unable to forge an alliance with them, they all agree on a neutrality pact in case they ever get an offer from the Pikes, and Boba realizes he's going to need more manpower and phones a friend. We then cut to Din Djarin wrapping up a job at the meatpacking plant, and here is the final and most important change I need to make in the Indigo cut, because everything involving Grogu, Luke, and Ahsoka, all of that is going to be cut from the Book of Boba Fett, and push all that to Mandalorian Season 3. Everyone already knows about this problem, and my simple solution to that is just push it out of the Boba Fett show, and make sure all of this actually centers around Boba Fett. So either way, a Boba Fett or Fennec Shand send a message to Din Djarin just after he gets kicked from the Mando Club for breaking the creed. They either do it in person or they send a message over Discord, doesn't really matter which. Main point is, they need his help, and he makes it over to Tatooine in order to recruit Cobb Vanth. Cobb Vanth is a little bit hesitant, but says he will meet them at Fett's place, only to get gunned down by Cad Bane shortly after Din leaves. The Pikes bomb Whip's club, and so Boba Fett, his posse, and Din Djarin all meet at Mos Espa and prepare to lay siege against the Pikes like in the actual show. Chrysanthemum joins Boba Fett after barely surviving the attack, and here is where I actually stop writing fanfiction because I think the broad story details can actually be kept the same, just like in the show itself. Of course, cut all the Grogu scenes and just leave that all out, but let Team Fett battle against Team Pikes. They struggle and barely manage to take out the one Roidica, and once two more pull up to the streets, here's where we get Boba Fett his hero moment, as he comes in charging in on the Rancor, and quickly dispatches both of them as the Pike mercenaries surrender. Fennec Shand takes out the other gang leaders, the mayor, and the Pike commander in charge of this whole operation. Din Djarin gets a call from Pelimato about a new ship that she had ready for him, and he heads over to Mos Eisley to pick it up. Fett, Fennec, the cyborgs, and Chrysanthemum all tour the rebuilding Mos Espa, and hopefully the scene where the people are greeting their new daimyo and thanking him feels a little bit more earned in this version, because I don't know why in the actual show they all decide to thank him and bow their heads when he kind of barely even did anything and actually arguably left a bigger mess in the city. So why are you being so grateful to this guy? The Book of Boba Fett was a show that I felt had potential, but ended up being a disappointment to me and a lot of other fans. But with just a few small changes, a bit of rearrangement, and a couple of crucial cuts, I hopefully made an upgraded version of the show that you may have found to be better and more narratively satisfying. So tell me what you think of the Indigo cut and if I should do more Star Wars fanfics, or fanfics for other things also. This is mainly a Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Xenoblade channel in case this is your first time finding this, so you can watch any of those videos here, or check out the only tangentially Star Wars related thing I have is this where I complain about Lego sets. Until then, have a good day and may the 4th be with you.